Hello everybody, my name is Rachel and I'm here with a very late BooktubeSFF Babbles topic. This was for March 8th, which is a crossover with Top 5 Wednesday, and I just didn't have time to film it in advance, so I'm doing it now. This topic is top 5 favorite science fiction or fantasy novels, which is evil. Making me choose only 5 is really, really evil. But I have done it. I have only 5 here, and I have narrowed my list down with 2 criteria. The first is that these are all books that when I finished reading them, I was literally breathless. I was excited, my heart was pounding. They're the types of books that I stayed up late to finish or I read in just one sitting. The other criteria that I used to winnow this list down even more is I only chose titles that I haven't mentioned in a while, because even though I don't bring them up as much for whatever reason, they are still favorites. To keep this short, I am not going to dive into plot summaries. I'm going to tell you what the book is, and I'm going to read you the first sentence. First is Deep Secret by Diana Wynne Jones. This is one of only 3 novels she ever wrote for adults, and it is a fantasy novel. It is hilarious and lovely and wonderful. And the first line of it is, "I may as well start with some of our deep secrets, because this account will not be easy to understand without them." Next is Bar Rayar by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is one of the Vorkosigan Saga books, which is a science fiction series. Usually when I pick a favorite by Bujold, I reach for Shards of Honor because it is the book that comes right before Bar Rayar. It's a good entry point into the series, but Bar Rayar is the one with the shopping scene at the end that made me so excited. And the first line of this is, "I am afraid." Next is Hyperion by Dan Simmons, which is the first book in the Hyperion Canto series. It is science fiction on a really epic scale, and it's pretty well known for emulating the Canterbury Tales in this first book. The first line of the first chapter is, "The consul awoke with a peculiar headache, dry throat, and sense of having forgotten 1,000 dreams, which only periods in cryogenic fugue could bring." Next is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. This is a wonderful, heartwarming, standalone fantasy novel, and I should really mention it more because it is one of the best fantasy novels I've read in years. But for some reason, I just don't think of it very often. The first sentence of this one is, "Maya woke with his cousin's cold fingers digging into his shoulder." And lastly is Anathem by Neil Stevenson. However, I think he pronounces the title of this Anathem, which I think is really hard to say. This is another standalone science fiction novel. It is my favorite book by Neil Stevenson, and out of these 5, I think it has the best first sentence, which is, "Do your neighbors burn one another alive?" was how Fra Arolo began his conversation with Artisan Fleck. I should really reread this book. Voila! 5 favorites. I'm very pleased with myself for only choosing 5 for this video, but there you go. I absolutely loved all these books. If you ever read them too and you want to talk about them, please comment down below. If you need to know more about the BooktubeSFF Awards and the Babbles topics, I will leave all the links to the Goodreads group and the Tumblr page and all that stuff down below in the description. And thank you very much for watching. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.